Yes, people, we are live in the Albert JTV household. Live Stories is back once again, people. Hashtag episode 16. But before we get into it, let's hit the intro. Yes, people, welcome back to Albert JTV. Like I said, welcome back to the, as I like to call it, the Southeast London red carpet. But people, episode 16, man, live stories. I've got two fantastic guests here. But before I introduce them, people, obliterate the like button. And audio listeners, you have not been forgotten. So this will go out on my Spotify and Anchor. So you can hear those Southeast London dulcet tones, people. But yeah, people, I've got two special guests with me, Arsenal family. We are related, so I need to look into the family food chain, but I'm sure we are somehow. But firstly, introducing to Life Story and first time on Albert JTV. Daniel, thank you for agreeing to come on, mate. Great to get you on.
No worries, it's great to be here. I have to apologise for the background noise. My wife's in the other room, obviously forgetting that I'm doing a show and she's shouting. So apologies for that.
No way. Now, Daniel, Frank, great to get you on. We like it's mad because we actually still haven't met at the Arsenal games yet, which is crazy.
We've not met. It's yeah. I'm sure next season though, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely looking forward to it, bro. Now, I appreciate you coming on, people. And of course, I've got. I think George. I'm not sure you've been on my channel before. Actually, I think it might be the first time. I'm not sure, but for Life Stories, obviously, it is the first time because we're only going to do this only once. But George, welcome to the channel, man. And thank you for agreeing to come on.
Cheers, mate. It's been a long time coming. It's honoured to be on, mate, to be fair. And I have met you at football, so that's one over.
You have.
A few times.
We have. Nah, George, it's been a pleasure.
Sober and drunk, mate. That's me. I've mixed it up.
I prefer the first part, George, but that's just me. But anyway.
Yeah.
But much love for coming on, you guys.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, no, of course, man. Life stories. People, I'll get the necessary bits out of the way. But people, as you can see, going along the bottom of the screen, along the banner, and obviously in the guys' boxes, their Twitter handles are there. So people go and follow and go and subscribe to the guys' channels, which I will highlight again during the stream. But yeah, guys, life stories, man. As I always like to do with the first question, life stories. Your Arsenal story. I'm going to kick off with Georgie boy, actually. So George, mate, how did the Arsenal journey start? Influences and the first memories. Hashtag come on, you Gunners.
So it also, most of my family are Arsenal fans, so it kind of built from that. They were born they used to go to school around Highbury and stuff like that, like my dad's and all that. So
yeah,
it was kind of built from there. The first, I was born in Enfield, so that's a bit of a dodgy one to be. It's either Arsenal or them lot. So luckily I went the right way. But my first memories were probably the first game I remember going to was, funny enough, was the last game of the season. I think we played Everton in 1998 when Adams scored.
Oh wow, what a game!
Wow. And I turned around to my dad and said, "Is this what it's always like?" And he went, "No." That was a bit, and then as it goes on, you think from 1998 to about 04, I'm thinking, yeah, it's not too bad this game's for Arsenal. And then the rest happened. But influences when I was younger, obviously when I used to watch loads and loads of football. I would watch everything, you name it, it was on. Even the Japanese J League would be on.
Wow, geez, that is dedication.
Yeah. But when I was younger, it was Anelka and people like that was my favourites at the time.
Okay, cool. So your first game was the Everton game when we won the league when Tony Adams scored that beautiful goal. That is That's a serious first game to go to.
There was
man.
only 5 as well.
No, but listen, that is a serious game to go
Yeah.
to, man. Fair play, man. But Georgie, that was great stuff, man. No, it's good to hear you.
Yes.
Like I said, great to hear your stuff, Johnny, man, about the Arsenal, man. Gonna come to Daniel, mate. Sort of the same question, my friend, man. Earliest memories and what's your Arsenal story, my friend?
So earliest, are you on about earliest Arsenal memories or just memories of football?
All combined, mate. Whatever you want to say, bro. Go on, bro.
Yeah. So I'll start with like the Arsenal memories. So my first actual live game that I went to. So I never got to see Arsenal at Highbury.
Yeah. Same here.
Because I sort of live outside of London. Those who know me, I live outside of London, in Devon. So I travel in, and when I was younger, a lot of my family weren't really big into football. Like my uncle was a massive Arsenal fan, but he was more of like an Arsenal fan. He didn't really like going to games. He wasn't really big on crowds, so he just watched Arsenal on the telly. Which is actually where I've got my Arsenal roots from him. But my first actual live game sort of was at the Emirates, and I remember it because it was 2007, and we were playing Steaua Bucharest in the Champions League group game. And actually, I remember it for several reasons.
Yeah.
The first reason because I didn't see, and I think we lost that game as well. I can't remember actually I can't remember the result, because actually me getting to that game was more of a drama than the actual game. So
just give yourself,
anyone knows that if you go to London for the first time and you've not been there and you don't really know anything about London, it's quite daunting. It's massively daunting. So me and my friend, we went from Exeter up to London. We got completely lost. We ended up missing the entire first half of the game.
Oh my God.
We ended up getting into the ground 20 minutes before the game ended, and the only goal I saw was the Steaua Bucharest goal, which was absolutely madly insane, isn't it? So yeah, that was my first memory of that was my first sort of like Arsenal live game. But football wise, I sort of, I used to at school with my friend, or my best friend at the time when I was at school, he's a big Man United fan. And obviously me being Arsenal, you can remember the rivalry between Arsenal and Man United. So
100%.
We used to just play football in our school yard, and we used to just pretend to do penalty shootouts, and him being Man United players, me being Arsenal players. So we were just mad into playing football back then. But yeah, that's my earliest memories of football. And then Arsenal, I think I used to watch all of the, the Invincible side on, on telly and all that. I used to come home from school whenever there was a Champions League game. I used to remember it. I used to come home from school, used to, do the old thing of getting the homework out of the way and then watching the Champions League game on the telly. So yeah, good times, really good times. That was when Arsenal were great, Yeah,
I know. We'll welcome their days back again very soon. Well, say very soon. We'll see. Man.
Exactly.
We will. Positivity. Come on.
Let's get the transfer out of the way, George, before we start talking about positivity and negativity, mate.
Yeah, it's fine. Everyone needs to chill out.
This
transfer window's not even open yet, and everyone's having meltdowns.
Exactly. To be fair, I had a meltdown a week ago, and then I was just like, I sort of sat down and spoke to myself, and I was like, fucking hell, like the transfer window's not even opened yet. Chill. And then I'm just like, and I've seen people on Twitter as well going into utter meltdown, and I'm like, it's not even open yet.
It's all about Eddie. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Don't
Well,
even start with that,
listen,
George.
listen,
Let's not
there's,
start with
there's,
that.
there's
Let's
plenty of
not
time.
start.
There's plenty of time to talk about that. Trust me. When the season kicks off, I'm sure there'll be many heated and very interesting podcasts and live streams happening. Don't worry about that. But now, guys, it's great to get your views about your Arsenal journey. Let's go to chat quickly. Sam drops in a quick message. 3 legends, 2 Kai, mate. What a show we have coming up. Well, Sam, you said it, mate. So thank you.
I'll pay you later, Sam.
Yeah. And Triggsy's in the chat. My Penzance Queen. Good evening, or G.
Hey,
Good to
G.
see you in the chat. Yeah, good to see you in the chat. So yeah, I'm gonna come to George in the next one. Georgie boy. So it's you know what? It's not an easy one to kind of answer. I'm gonna give you my sort of one. They say, name me one ex-Arsenal player that cemented your love for the club. I mean, hashtag love is in the air. I mean, obviously for me, it might not be surprised to some people in terms of Ian Wright being a massive influence in that. But I'd say sort of if I look at my time supporting Arsenal, there's a lot of players you could think of that are obvious, but I think I got to, you know what is, I got to look at Patrick Vieira, you know. His ability and how good he was. I don't think I've seen anything like it. And people might think I'm being biased because we're Arsenal fans here on the panel, but I don't think I've seen a midfield player like him. And I don't think if I'm looking now at current football, I know people like to make the comparison with N'Golo Kante, and I like N'Golo Kante, by the way, but I just think Vieira was just a different animal. And it's for me, when I think of players that make me think, you know what, I'm so glad I support this club. Obviously, Righty and Patrick Vieira. So, Georgian, come to you, mate. Not an easy question, but you have only one player, mate. Only one.
It's quite easy for me, to be fair. It's got to be the GOAT, Dennis Bergkamp. I love that.
Great shout.
Like, just like the way he transformed. I know we had people like Vieira, Overmars, all them guys, which are brilliant in their own way. But some of the, because obviously when I was younger, I had sight, so I could see it.
Yeah,
and cool. the hat trick he scored against Leicester.
Oh,
like wow. Maybe I'm biased, but I don't really care, to be honest.
George, you're top. Yeah, you're free will, mate. Go, just say what you got to say.
You know me, mate. I don't have no filter, so I just think I can't. Everyone bands on about players like, because he was the proper number 10, wasn't he? Like Bergkamp, but he still scored. Like I can't think of anyone that plays now that he can even lace his boots. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And also like just stuff he did. Like he was like what he done against Newcastle. Like
class.
And that is a world class player for me. Like, and if I know you only said one, but you were saying about Vieira. You were saying about Vieira with Kante. Like, I'm in the same agreement with Thierry Henry. Like everyone bands on about Kane, Aguero, all these strikers. Like, mate, come back to me when you're got someone who's like can even entertain the same conversation as Thierry Henry. But I would probably, for me, I'd probably say Bergkamp because I don't think Henry does and scores the goals he gets if it wasn't for Dennis Bergkamp.
No, shout, George, that's a great shout. Because the thing is, the way sort of asked the question to you guys, I'll get Daniel's views in just a minute. There's always, for me, is always a player or a couple of players that for you that just do it for you as a fan. That's
I was going to say Pascal Segan, mate, but I didn't think
Sigon, whoever they want to say it. Yeah,
the Londoners say it. Segan or Rami Shaban.
But George, no, DB is a great shout, man. Like the hat trick goal v Leicester. Technically, just a fabulous player, and the funny thing is, George, like he didn't have a great time in Italy, Inter Milan, when he was there.
No.
But he came to Arsenal, obviously struggled, as many people know. But once he got that couple goals against Southampton, the rest is history, man.
It was for me. And like stuff he done even in Europe. Like, so he didn't just do it like in the Premier League. He done it on the European stage.
Yeah.
He didn't like flying, whatever, but he still like I listen to Ray Parlour talk quite a lot when he's on TalkSport, and you hear the stories he comes out with. Like Bergkamp, he's just amazing. Well, he was amazing. Like, but I'd love him to come back to Arsenal in some kind of capacity.
All in good time, hopefully, mate. All in good time.
Yeah, put him
I
up
like-
front, give him number 14 top. You know what I mean?
Right, George, now great shout with DB.
Thank
And of course, to my fantastic other guest, Daniel. Let's have your thoughts, man.
Don't you dare say Lacazette.
For me, Thierry Henry. Like, I
Yeah.
know, I get what I get what George is saying about Henry. You know, he wouldn't have scored the goals if it hadn't been for Dennis Bergkamp. And you know what? It's very hard to pick between the two because
Yeah.
for me, Thierry Henry, I just absolutely love that guy. Like, absolutely, whenever I watched Arsenal, I used to especially enjoy watching him play. And I always say, Thierry Henry was the greatest player to play for Arsenal in that era, but Dennis Bergkamp in that era was the technically best player in that era of players. But for me, Thierry Henry, when you just gravitate to a player, and I'm not saying that I didn't like Dennis Bergkamp.
No, of course.
No,
but when everyone has their favourites, and Thierry Henry was mine. I absolutely just love that guy, and you could just tell that when he got on the ball, something was going to happen.
Now, to back up you two, like ran to George talking about Bergkamp. I mean, like when you look at sort of footage when they played for us, I mean, some of Dennis's assists, I just sit there just in awe. I mean, he's almost thinking ahead before the plays even sort of started. It's superb, man. And that's what Henry, I think, Daniel, and I think someone put up a clip on Twitter. This must have been about maybe a couple of months ago, like a highlight reel. I just sat there just smiling, man. It just Henry, go on, mate. Go on, bro.
Do you know, Albert? I was sat here thinking the other day, and this may be slightly going off topic, but it sort of isn't. But I was sat there thinking the other day that if you took the Invincible side and put it in today's Premier League, I was just sat here thinking, how would that the Premier League title would be a 3-horse race between us, Liverpool, and Man City if you took the Invincible side and put it in today's Premier League, because they were that good.
I don't think it would be. I think we'd win it. I think the Invincible team's better than the Liverpool and City team now.
Do you really think so? I think it's I think it's pretty close, to be honest. Close. Yeah, I'm not sure. Close. I wouldn't say we're out. That team is outrightly better because
it's a good shout.
I know.
I wouldn't the options we had, though.
I'm not dumbing down the Invincible side in any way, shape, or form. But I think when you look at Man City and Liverpool of today, they were essentially the Arsenal and Man United of back then. When we were going for the title. But I just think I think it would be pretty close. To be fair, I don't think there'd be much in it.
It's a good.
I just mean like the options we had. Like you go through it. You had Bergkamp, you had Henry, you had like everyone forgets about Perez and Ljungberg. Everyone bands on about Salah, Mane,
Campbell.
Everyone bands on about Salah and Mane. I'd take Freddie and Bobby over them two.
George and Daniel, I hear you. I think we've sort of going to come back onto topic, but no, I see what you're saying in terms of
it'd be close, but I think we'd still win it.
No, George, you make a good point because I think. Listen, it's just my opinion. I'm not going to speak for George and Daniel. I'm sure they have their views, but there's a lot of and there has been a lot of media loving for Liverpool for quite a few years.
No, never really.
No, I just mean that as well. But I mean in terms of
I've not really noticed it for Liverpool. I've noticed it for them not down the road. Jesus Christ,
no, Liverpool
big time.
Definitely big time.
Yeah, and them lot down the road. The media loving for them lot down the road is cringy.
The reason I say about the Liverpool Man City thing quickly and about the Invincibles, because what I said about Bergkamp, I think Bergkamp when he was week in, week out, if you compared him to a player now, that's like the best of Kevin De Bruyne and Mo Salah rolled into one.
Pep would have loved Dennis Bergkamp.
Yeah.
Man.
So like, can you imagine? So that's what I mean. Like, and like everyone and the squad we had, we were competing. Everyone forgets about rest in peace, Jose Reyes. Like,
Yeah.
he would walk into any top 4 team now. Easy.
Yeah,
So-
I loved Reyes. I liked his energy, Reyes, and actually, it's a shame that there were better players in that side than him. You know, like Bergkamp, like Henry,
Yeah.
because he was a really talented player.
Don't forget about
And,
Ali Adier as well.
Loved playing against Chelsea, didn't he, Reyes? Do you know what I mean?
He did.
Loved playing against Chelsea.
No, you two guys get some great. I'm going to give some. What was a comment in the chat? Someone mentioned Sol Campbell, Mr.
Yeah, legend.
Mendes.
Won the double.
Sol Campbell was a beast. Obviously, most would choose Henri Bergkamp, etc. But we haven't had a solid, tall, strong centre back in a long time. And that's the thing with the question. It was almost kind of.
I'll tell you another player is Gilberto.
Yes, great shout.
We've never really, and even now, like I know we have Partey who turns up where he's fit for like three days in a year, but like Gilberto, no, we've not nowhere near replaced him.
George, you know what he does? I don't think he gets. I think he gets a lot of plaudits within amongst our fan base. I don't think universally he gets enough plaudits.
You realise how good Gilberto was when he weren't playing.
Yeah,
like when you watch back other fans that won't say nothing because he ain't a big name, but
that's the thing. Yeah.
But you watch and you see how we struggled, like without him, and then you look at the ones we've had since then, and you're like, no.
Standards, George, isn't it? Standards, man. Difficult to get these players.
It's like going to eat in a Miller and Carter and then getting a Weatherspoon.
Oh, George, you killed. People in the chat, thank you for your amazing interaction. Please go and subscribe to George's channel and Daniel's channel. I will give them a plug towards the end of the show. Also, people, so I've definitely have subscribed to both you people. So I wouldn't tell people to do something that I haven't done myself. So I have done it. But gonna come to Daniel. Next question, mate. So right, name me one ex non-Arsenal player that you would have liked to have seen play for the club. Hashtag too many to choose from.
Did you say ex or current? No, I think you said ex, didn't you? Yeah.
Ex, non. Yeah, you give one a ticket. Yeah, not. Yeah, none. Yeah.
Can I do an ex and a current?
Yeah, go on, Daniel. Go on.
No, that's just greedy.
No, only because so an ex player. Oh, that do you know that is actually really difficult. And I was thinking about this.
It's tough. It's tough.
When you sent the thing through yesterday, I was thinking about this, and I was like, I think I'm gonna go with. Are we keeping this confined to the Premier League, or are we sort of going?
We can pick someone from the Spartans Premier League if you want, mate.
Do the Premier League if you've got one in mind, mate. Do the Premier League if you've got one in mind.
Oh, see, that makes it. That's.
Or go with the one you thought you had in your head. Go on.
I was gonna go with Zidane.
Who wouldn't want him?
Yeah, honestly, I was gonna go with and then current player who I would love.
Vieira.
Current player who I would love to play for Arsenal, which is never gonna happen, is Mbappe. I just love Mbappe. I don't know why. I've just got a thing for Mbappe.
Oh, killing them softly.
No, I just love Mbappe. I love Mbappe in an Arsenal shirt would be quality, but it's never ever gonna happen.
You could dream.
It's just a pipe dream. Yeah. Do you know what? Do you know what? The state of us at the moment, you have to dine out on dreams like that, because just to get you through. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. No, fair play, man. Fair play. George, what about you, my friend? It's tough. It is tough.
I'm really out the box with this. So,
go on, mate.
On his day, I would love to have seen Roberto Baggio in an Arsenal top.
Good shout, George. Good shout.
What a player he was! Like,
yeah, he was.
On his day, like, was it Sampdoria? Was Sampdoria, wasn't it?
Yes, off the top of my head, I had a blank. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Like stuff he done was just magic. Bit similar to Bergkamp, really, but like on his day, probably either him or George
Well,
Best, maybe.
Cool. Yeah, you wouldn't have minded that, would you? Bloody hell.
No. Stuff he done, like when Ron Chopper Harris is like trying to break his legs and he's just jumping over and saying, I'll see you at dinner. See, when I get asked these questions, I don't like to go for the obvious ones. So
yeah, mine's not obvious. Mine's definitely not obvious.
So the person now who I'd love to see at Arsenal, I think would help us the most is Jude Bellingham.
Oh, great shout. Great shout.
He's 18 or 18, 19, however old he is, but he's
18,
so experienced. Like, you'd think what he could do in that midfield. Imagine Partey, Yakubu, whatever we're calling him now, to next to Bellingham. You wouldn't have to see Xhaka ever again. Be brilliant.
Well, you know, George will save that name for another live stream. We're not going to get into that.
I have to use the number. But yeah, Bellingham. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't want Mbappe. Like, don't get me wrong, but I'd probably say Bellingham for me.
No, good shout. So listen. That's what the question was for, man. Whatever, you know, we can all dream. And
I want my Messi on his day. Like he might just get ahead of like Lacazette and Nketiah, maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, just get him.
Yeah, or Neymar.
Yeah, let me come to chat.
I'm really not a fan of Neymar.
There's not many that are, mate.
I think he's so overrated. Like, I really do, and I probably people in the chat probably like, bloody hell, he don't know what he's on about. But Neymar is just
no. Everyone has their views.
Like, he has his sister's birthday off like every 3-4 weeks. So she's got more birthdays than the Queen, Neymar's sister. But then he just dives all over the place, and he ruins it for himself. Because if he didn't do that, he'd probably get more plaudits. But
yeah, he doesn't know.
The one that hurt the most that was Benzema, because we were linked with him for about 20 years. Like, and he was having medicals like with Draxler for about 100 years, and like I would imagine him at Arsenal. Like, but
Benzema's quality.
He's got a better of age, like fine wine. But no, sorry. Let me come to the chat quickly. Big up Jake's in there. Arsenal analyze. No worries, mate. Everyone's got a life. Apologies for being late. Nice, friend.
It's not good enough, Jake.
Yeah. Ryan Youngblood, Detroit Gooner, thank you. He's text player. He's Alessandro Nesta. Oh, different class.
Yeah, good shout.
Yeah. I think for me, I've mentioned this guy before. Obviously, like I said, it's a hard question because there's so many people you could think of.
Yeah.
But I was a big fan of him. Paul Ince.
Yeah. It's a bit of a turncoat, wasn't he? Like when he was here at West Ham, and he went to Man United.
He got labelled with the whole governor thing, but Ince could play, man. Ince could definitely play. Good time at Inter Milan. He just, you know, I won't say so much about the hard man kind of thing, but Ince could play. He could talk.
Not another big name, is he? That's the problem. Like,
he could talk the talk. He could talk the talk, and he could walk the walk.
Yeah.
I liked Ince. So he's someone I would like to see. But no, big up to people in the chat, like I keep saying.
Who would you have now?
What current player?
Yeah.
We'll probably touch on that towards the last bit because that kind of coincide with that. Yeah, I've said it before on here, but I just love him. I think he's fantastic. But no, I'm gonna come to
Danny Ings.
No, not Danny. No, I didn't even say a name, but no. Let me come to the next question now. Right, bit of a gear change. Definitely a gear change. I'm gonna kick off with Georgia actually. So yeah, mate. How have you found your experiences of social media and the YouTube footballing scene? # be candid. # be frank.
How long you got?
I know you haven't got long yourself, so no. Listen, it's a question. Before you answer, George, it's a question I've asked a lot of, obviously, most people when I've had life stories, and I'm very always keen to know their experiences. Also, probably what advice you could give if anybody was thinking about being involved in sort of the YouTube podcasting thing. I know you've obviously got a channel, George, with some of the other guys who's quite new to it, but yeah, mate, just be as frank and as candid as you want, mate. Honestly.
On the whole, I think it can be quite a positive place. Like if you're surrounded by the right people.
Yes.
Some parts of it's like a child's playground, if I'm honest. And but like some of the shows I've done, like Lee's channel, Cannon Chatter, and other channels that I do go on, they've been so welcoming. Like, and they don't need to be. Like, to me, I appreciate everyone that gives me the chance to go onto a show, because I probably chat a lot of crap at most of the time, but on the whole, in the channel on the YouTube, if you got football as a love and you want to do YouTube stuff, I definitely recommend it, because at the end of the day, like I say about all Arsenal fans, in football we're all doing it for the same love, and that's football. Sure, people can be entitled. For me, everyone's entitled to their opinion. You shouldn't be abused for something you believe in. Like, I know what I mean by that is like name calling or trolled, that sort of thing, which I've had to deal with recently. Like, for example, I am pro Arteta, as people would know, but I'm an Arteta sexual. Like, Brian called me that. Like, I was going to add it to my bio because I've never been called anything nice like that before. So, but just because I have a different opinion doesn't mean that I should be abused for it. Like, at the end of the day, we all love Arsenal, so that should be what matters. In the social media thing, I think it can be a very toxic place.
Yeah, it's a key word.
But once again, if you surround yourself with real people and realize that you go on social media, not everyone is your friend.
100%.
Like, you have specific people. Like, I know I've had this conversation with you before, Albert. Like, and when I was new to it, like, you just followed this person, followed you. Oh yeah, they're my mate. They're not. Like, they're after trying to be nosy and trying to cause problems. But I think it's self-explanatory. I think most people with the common sense values would be like, all right, so yeah, I'm just staying out of that. But it's changed my life. I'm not going to say it hasn't, because I used to go football and not really know anyone. So
100%. Well said.
Like, and this last season, the amount of people that I met my best friend through social media, like Lottie. So
yes, big up Lottie.
And she's changed my life massively, and Georgina, and even Jake, dodgy Jake. You know what I mean? I only get to call him that.
Jake's a good man.
Yeah, he's good. But and so on the whole, for people gonna look into it, like doing social media, definitely do it. But just remember, just because someone's nice to you doesn't mean that they always have your best interest at heart.
George, absolutely fantastic. You've hit the nail on the head with quite a few things you said there. I don't even need to elaborate. As you said, we've had many conversations in recent months where I like I said, I've been on Twitter a long time, a very, very long time. But even I've got I've learned probably a lot more.
You find out who real people are, mate. That's
George, you touched on a good point. Before I come to Daniel, like, even I'll be candid and transparent as I can be with you two and the people watching this. There's some people I haven't heard from for the last few months.
Yeah,
completely off thread. Don't hear from them anymore, and it's a shame. When I say that, what I mean in the sense of, as you guys know, I'm one of the brothers, and the BAME community, and I saw a lot of people that have interacted with me and I've not heard from them for a few months, and that's disappointing. Because
someone said to me,
sorry, George, mate, just to finish. Because the thing is, as yourself and many other people who are not from the BAME community saw what was really, really occurring on the platform with myself, and I've been happy enough and very open enough to say it. I saw blatant signs of covert racism, and for people that share the same community as I do and stayed silent throughout that process, and I'm going to turn around and say it, shame on you. Because things like that, you call it out, and you said and done nothing. So that's all I'll say to that bit. But Georgie, it's fantastic, mate. Honestly,
well, I'm saying, like, people like who are your friends. Like, someone said this to me not that long ago, because we all go through difficult times. Just people don't publish it a lot. But if you've got people in your life who at least once a week or something just messages you to see how you are, then they're the real people, not the people that just like a tweet or a Facebook post or an Instagram post when you've put something up about a football game or a motivational quote. The people that notice that you're a bit quiet or you're not yourself, they're the ones to surround yourselves with.
Fantastic. George couldn't have said any better, mate. Sending you a virtual hug, you can't feel it, but trust me, mate. Trust me.
Cheers, mate.
But let me come to chat quickly before I quickly come Daniel. Big up to Dora on tour. I've seen you on same one also, I think, and Lee Judge's TV before, Nottingham Forest. We played him in a couple of times. Seen you got a good channel, mate. Congratulations for Forest coming up. I'm sure collaborations and if you come to the games, we'll meet up. So thank you for tuning in, mate. Much appreciated. Georgina's in the chat. You quickly learn who's a good person, who isn't. Couldn't agree more. Rather have a small group of good people than a larger group of all sorts. Amen to that, Georgina Trixie. Well said.
I don't like licorice anyway, so I'm all right.
Yeah. Also analyze. Well said, George. Yeah, of course, man. Go on. Daniel, the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, so I've genuinely found like it to be a positive experience. Obviously you're going to get some, you're going to get some negativity, and I think it's very strange because before I started it, obviously I've dipped my foot in the YouTube scene with various platforms before I started my own channel.
Yes.
And from the experiences back then, I was getting a lot of negative feedback, and I was getting a lot of I wasn't sort of really, I wouldn't say appreciated, but sort of like, how can I best describe it? I wasn't people didn't really like my opinion. So when I started my channel, I was sort of like, this could either go one of two ways. People could really like me, or people could just hate me, hate my opinion. So when I started my channel, I was actually blown away by the support that I've been getting. I've been blown away by the people's kindness, going, oh yeah, keep up the content, and so I've had a generally good experience. I'd say the thing that I learnt quickly, and when I started my channel, I remember getting my first negative comment on my channel, and I've been used to negative comments from dipping my toe in other platforms.
Yeah.
And it sort of hit home. You're like, hang on a second, but these people are new to their channel. They don't know me. And I think you have to remember, and this is probably the advice that I would give to upcoming YouTubers.
Yeah.
Or people that are thinking of dipping their toe in the YouTube scene, is that not everybody is going to like you. Not everybody's going to like your content. And you have to differentiate from when people say negative comments. Yes, it's hurtful. 9 times out of 10, you have to remember that they don't know you as a person. They're just seeing you in front of a screen and seeing you in front of a video. So they're just judging you on the basis of what they're seeing. And also, you can't please everybody.
No.
Do you know what I mean? There's always going to be some negative comments. Now, I'm not saying it's acceptable or it ever should be accepted, because I do genuinely believe, like George said a while ago about no one should ever get abused. That's a whole different kettle of fish. But you have to understand that not everybody is you're not gonna be everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
So you have to grow I wouldn't say grow a thick skin, but sort of just you have to sort of be hardened to it.
Yeah.
So that's the advice I would give to any upcoming YouTubers. And also I'd say as well that the real ones stick around, not just with friends. I know you guys have talked a lot about friends, but I'm talking about people that you'll get your regulars on the channel. So like, people will stick around. People will you'll learn very quickly the regulars to appreciate.
Alert from updates available.
100%. That's right.
Bloody blind people.
Yeah, bloody,
You too.
I got a visit from the Star Wars Enterprise there. Do you know what I mean? Jesus Christ.
I thought Obi-Wan Kenobi started
Yeah,
again.
that's the joys of not being able to see. And I think as well, the other thing I would say, and this is mainly more from like a personal point of view that I've noticed as well, because and this is the message that I want to put out, because I've noticed with doing YouTube myself, I find that a lot of people judge you before they even so like when people know that you've got a disability, like myself and George have, you know, we're both blind. I find that tends to switch people off before they've had a chance to, before they've even seen the content and the substance of the content.
I agree with that.
Well said.
All I would say is to people, you know, because we're not the only blind YouTubers out there. There's a lot of blind YouTubers in whatever niche they. I actually was surprised, and I actually wanted to go and look at other blind YouTubers to see how they fare. And I've seen there's lots of blind YouTubers out there with, I think it's 400,000-500,000 subscribers, so very successful.
Wow.
So I would say to people, don't be put off by someone's disability, and I'm not just talking about myself and George, I'm talking about anybody that does YouTube, because let me tell you, it takes minerals to get in front of a camera. It's not easy. You know, you can do radio, you can do you know, you can do other things, but when you're putting yourself in front of a camera and you're forming your own content, it takes minerals, and you're exposing yourself in ways that you wouldn't expose yourself in ways that you wouldn't expose yourself normally. So it takes an awful lot of minerals to get in front of a camera and do it. I remember the first content that I ever did, which was an AFTV fan cam, and I went into it going, do you know what? I'm used to talking about football. I'm used to talking about Arsenal. But actually, when you know that those cameras are rolling and stuff, it's scary. It's daunting.
Yeah.
You know, you clam up, because you're trying to plan what you're going to say. You're trying to, you know, to sort of go through what you're going to go in your head. But then when the cameras are rolling, you get a little bit starstruck. It's not easy. It takes minerals. And the other thing I would say as well is that when you see these negative comments, if you do decide to dip your toe into the YouTube scene, or if you've already got a channel and you're finding that you're getting a lot of negative comments, just remember that 99% of these people that are putting negative comments in, same with Twitter, putting negative tweets out, same with Facebook, they wouldn't have the minerals to get in front of a camera and do it themselves. Do you know, I had one experience on my channel, and somebody was giving me right grief. And I just simply said, all right, then, you put yourself in front of a camera and do what I'm doing. And let me tell you, I've not seen that person since. So that tells you all you
keyboard warriors.
Exactly. Keyboard warriors. You know, they're in their mum's basement getting handed pasta and bottom. You know what I mean? They've got nothing better to do.
Oh, don't cuss pasta, mate. Like, I like pasta.
We like our carbs, man.
Yeah, the close they've had to action is watching Babe Station. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, honestly, it's or a kiss off their nan. Do you know what I mean? That's the close they've had to action. So don't worry about them.
Dan's letting all his secrets out, guys. So don't worry about it.
Not letting all my secrets out.
No, you too. You know what? You've answered that fantastically, man. Seriously. I would say, just to add to it before we come on to the last sort of question. And George and Daniel, you definitely qualified to answer this. What I've definitely found, and absolutely, I can probably say this for George and Daniel, they'll confirm me. You should not have to apologize for being asked to come on bigger channels. Why should that be a punishment? Why should it's not? If you get, like I say, it's a privilege to be asked to be part of the Judges TV, and I'm lucky to be gone on Hybrid Squad and Gonna Talk TV and Harry Simu's channel. that's a privilege for me. And if people want to hear my opinion, fantastic, on a bigger platform. It's not for other people to feel like they can sort of have a go at you or be resentful. That's not our problem.
No, I agree.
If somebody asked you to come on the channel, why, if you found that, if you two guys found that, because I have found that, definitely.
Yeah.
Resentment.
Yeah, people resent you, but do you know what? I want to say this as well.
Go on.
The people that do invite us on to the bigger channels, you know, we're small fry, aren't we? You know, myself, George's channel, and yourself. I don't want to say that in any way,
we know.
derogatory way, shape or form. So to the bigger channels, we're not really. There's not really a benefit in terms of, especially if they're doing it full time. So I just want to say to those guys who have took that risk, massive thank you. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's to every single one of you. You know, I'm not going to single either one out. I'm just going to say to the wider YouTube that have welcomed smaller podcasters and YouTubers onto their platform, a massive thank you.
Well said.
And you know what? Sod the people, because it just comes down to jealousy. It is 100%. Jealousy, and it's jealousy. A lot of what people do and a lot of what people say comes down to jealousy.
100%.
Because if they could swap places with you, they would.
100%. Amen to that, Daniel and George, man. 100%. I can't listen. It is what it is, and we're not stupid. Like, you know, at the end of the day, if, like you said, we don't self-invite ourselves onto people's channels. They ask us to come on. What, we should turn around and say no because to make you feel better? No.
Yeah. No, exactly. Like, can I just say this one thing as well?
Go on, bro.
Which I feel while we're talking about this is massively important. And this is the message I want to give to people, is that if you want to have a conversation with somebody, that's absolutely fine. If you want to disagree with somebody, that's absolutely fine. And no one's going to agree on everything, you know, when it comes to the Arsenal, when it comes to whatever. You know, it's fine to have a disagreement, but just shake hands at the end of it and say, do you know what, we disagree, but, you know, that's the end of it. There's no need to get into all this personal crap. There's no need to get into, you know, bring back the old days where you could have a conversation, have a disagreement, and then shake hands and go and have a pint at the end of it. Do you know what I mean? There's
for example, there's a living example of this, and I'm sure he will not mind me saying it, is Dan, not you, Dan Potts.
Yeah.
So me and him, we've got to know each other recently. He's proper Arteta out, as everyone knows. Like, he's not a great fan of Arteta, and well, I am, and we do disagree. Even me and Judges, we disagree a tiny bit. But at the end of the day, if I still need to get home, all I have to do is ring Lee and say, "Oh mate, or Russ, do you mind helping me get home?"
Yeah.
They're there. Or Dan, he'll still go out of his way. Like, no disrespect, Dan. A lot of people want to see Dan, and he goes out his way to talk to me and to see me when we're at games, which he doesn't need to do. The same with Mike. So these people, like Dan says, I do thank them and appreciate everyone that has given me a chance, because I ain't gonna lie, I am small fry. I haven't been doing it that long. But to be able to go on, say, Lee's shows or other shows that are massive, like I even get starstruck that I been able to talk to Sophie because I listened to her on the radio or Harry. You know what I mean? So sit like when they're on Talk Sport and I'm hearing like I talk to them. I'm just like, so for me it's like amazing, and I just think from the outside people don't look at the community. I don't know about other clubs because truthfully I don't really care about them, but like the Arsenal community does pull together when it needs to be. Like,
oh, it's fantastic. The Arsenal
like for example, when I got pickpocketed, before I went to Liverpool, the Premier League game, the amount of people that was there for me, like I had someone on Twitter called Nathan randomly messaged me and he sent me the brand new home top from last season. Just bought it for me and sent it to my address. like you wouldn't get. I don't. I'd like to think. I would not like to think that other clubs wouldn't do that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
So it's like a family. I've always said that when I put my tweets out when we have the match day shout outs that happen every week, and then like most people think, thank God the season's finished, I won't be in a shout out for a few weeks. But it's more like a family and a community to me. I like we say, like G said, you have the small people, a small group of people, but just echoing what Dan said, like people shouldn't have to be abused or anything like that. We could have all different opinions, but when people start bringing certain other people that are in your life into it, then that's like, mate, just grow up for me.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And
I echo what George says.
Go on, Donna. No, just to say as well. I think what I've noticed with yourself, Daniel, and George, and I always say this is very, very important. Since I've been doing YouTube, since 2020, June 2020, is your networking is so important.
Yeah,
because it allows you to if not everybody gets it to get the opportunities, maybe to be asked to come on bigger channels. It's very, very important, your networking and your relationship building. And the problem is a lot of people don't have that on the platform.
No,
that's why they don't get asked. It's the truth.
And I don't think just don't network. Like, it's good networking, but don't just network with people just for the sake of it. Don't sell yourself short and wanting to go onto other people's channels to make to try and make yourself feel relevant.
Also, what I would say is as well is don't network people just to go on their channels.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because people will see right through you.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
100%.
You know, so you've got to be genuine. Do you know what? People care more about genuine people than they do fake. And let me tell you, on social media, there's a lot of fake people out there. I'm not going to name names specifically, but there's a lot of fake people. Even in the Arsenal community, there's a lot of fake. There's a lot of fake individuals out there that are.
With me, you see what you get, because I can't see you, so you get anything.
You know, you've just got to be mindful of the fact, and I think we touched upon it earlier, that you've got to be careful who you if you're gonna do this YouTube thing, you've got to be careful who you dip your toe into the water with, because very quickly
what you was gonna say then.
Very quickly they can drown you, if your back's turned. So just just be careful.
Well said. You two guys have been first class for that particular question. Brilliant stuff, people. We've got one more question to go. This is quite a nice, simple one, but I'm gonna come to Daniel. Name your one favorite non-Arsenal current Premier League player.
Non-Arsenal current Premier League player. Let me tell you.
Tough choice. # tough choice, mate.
It is a tough choice. It is a tough choice.
I'll tell you mine, Daniel. Mine, I love KDB. I love him. Kevin De Bruyne.
I was gonna say for me.
Don't say so.
No, jeez.
Don't say that window liquor either.
No, I ain't saying either of them two.
We'll be launching you head first.
I ain't saying either of them. Honestly, trust me.
Surely you're not going to say Emerson Royale.
I don't want nothing to do with that club. Do you know what I mean? That club's toxic right from the bottom. Listen, you take your life into your own hands going there for an away day. So that's a whole different show completely.
Yeah.
That is actually really tough.
It might not even be an obvious one.
Mine's quite an obvious one. It's really tough. I guess mine is I'm gonna go with Mahrez,
Good shout. Great shout.
Yeah, Mahrez. I like Mahrez. he's so underrated.
Fantastic season last season.
Yeah, he's so underrated. I was actually when you were saying it, I was thinking about it, and then I was thinking I was going to say Haaland because he's now technically a Premier League player, but he hasn't played in the Premier League
No,
yet.
no,
I
not
can't
yet.
say him.
Watch
No,
him
Morris
flop.
is a good shout. Morris is a good shout. Great shout.
But yeah, Mahrez is massively underrated.
No, great shout. Great shout, Dan. We got there, but yeah, KDB's mine. George, you're gonna close in the show, mate. What about you, mate?
I'm torn between two. And one of them's James Ward-Prowse.
Good shout.
Because I just think what he does, just his set pieces are just, they're like
Brilliant.
Beckham.
First class,
To
yeah.
be fair. So it's either him or Jared Bowen.
Oh, George, great
Like,
shout.
That is a good shout.
I think
Great
he's been
shout.
absolute. And I watched him play for England the other day, and
He
you
did
know
all
what?
right. He did well. He did well.
He looked like he looked better than Mount. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's coming from someone who can't see how broke back mountain. He's useless. But yeah, it was either Bowen or Ward-Prowse, just for different reasons. And what I like about James Ward-Prowse at the moment, obviously, because I know money talks.
Yeah.
He's very loyal. I'll probably say that, and he'll leave next week. But but them two for me, because everyone, it's all right. You go for De Bruyne, which I agree is probably one of the best players in the world. But also with Salah, like everyone goes on about Salah. Salah, like people forget, he scored 20 goals before he went to the African Cup of Nations. He scored, and then he scored 4.
Yeah.
So for me, that's a split personality, Elmo. You know what I mean? I can't be having that. So, but yeah, if I'm leaning to anyone, and I think he'll be better next season just because of the international stuff, I'll probably say Bowen. Like, and because I think Bowen could go into the majority of that top 4 team.
George, you know sorry, Daniel. You know the funny thing? Sorry. Go on, Daniel. Go on. You go for it.
I was just going to say another player that's underrated, and I'm not saying this because he's been linked with Arsenal, but Shevchenko. Shevchenko is massively underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was going to say Tielemans.
Nah.
Now, you know what? Zinchenko obviously plays a different role for the Ukraine, but I thought he played really well against Scotland. And I thought he played well the other night against Wales. Someone in the chat mentioned Ryan Youngblood, Detroit Gooner, Conor Gallagher. He's had a good season at
I'd like to see him get the move permanently.
Yeah, I would as well. 100%. But people in the chat, thank you for your amazing interaction. Life stories come to an end. I've had 2 amazing guests in Daniel and George. I want to let the guys plug their channels. I know George has got to go. So George, thank you for coming on, mate. You've been first class. Where can the guys find you?
Cheers, mate. So you can find me at ClockendGeorge on Twitter. I had to change it because I kept getting it wrong, the other one, so it was too long. And also, if you guys are not sick of me, I've actually got a show on Sportsmania, which is at Official Westmania, in about 2 or 3 minutes. So, yeah, that's where you can find me.
No, George, big up to you.
Just want to say thanks, Albert, for having me on. You're an absolute legend.
No, I appreciate it. Much love, man. Appreciate you having me on. You've been fantastic, mate. People, as I said, go and check out George and follow. Go football community. Do your duty and go and follow and subscribe. And Daniel, last but not least, Daniel, man, fantastic having you on for the first time. Brilliant answer to the questions on life stories. Tell the guys where they can find you, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Albert. It's been great. Really enjoyed this. You guys can find me at Daniel Bailey TV. Yeah, that's where I am. Or failing that, you can find me at the Emirates next season if you're an Arsenal fan.
So with the Eddie 14 top at Europa League?
No, definitely not.
Just checking.
Definitely not. But yeah, you guys can find me at Daniel Bailey TV. I'm actually starting my transfer shows on Friday. They're starting as soon as the window opens. starting the transfer shows, and then I've got some great guests lined up.
Fabrizio Bailey, his name is.
No, I've got some great guests. I have had Fabrizio on my channel.
Go on,
I had Fabrizio. I've also had Charles Watts on my channel as well. I'm looking to do a show with him over the summer. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And then I've got some other guests that I'm working on for another sort of podcast that's not necessarily football related, but there's going to be a lot of sporting icons on that podcast.
Yeah, go on, Dan.
So yeah, please do go and follow that. I would really appreciate all the follows and the subscribers. And yeah, once again, thank you, Albert, for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
No worries. It's been fantastic. You two have been absolutely first-class people. Footballing community, you know what to do. And of course, as your host, Albert JTV from the Southeast London Red Carpet. Episode 16 is now done, people. 20 subscribers away from the 1K mark for myself. So hopefully we'll get there sooner rather than later. But much love to the people in the chat. Give your virtual waves and goodbyes. George has got to go. Daniel's going to have a rest, and I'm going to have a rest as well because I want to watch some television and football. But people, that is Albert JTV over and out. Live Stories, episode 16. See you soon, people.